so excited about today's show. We have something fun planned for you guys. We will be talking to the Multi-Platinum Grammy Award winning artist, Miss Faith Evans. And it's a double feature. We will also be talking to my favorite producer. He has worked with Chris Brown, T.I., Faith Evans, Mary J. Blige. Can you take a guess? My brother, Mars. He's going to be joining us, as well as Faith Evans, via Skype. So don't move. We'll be right back. Faith? Hey girl, it's Jazz. I'm good, girl. You love. How you doing? Good. Okay, I need a huge favor. I really need to interview you. Do you have a second to talk with me? Well, no, we just gonna have some girl talk or whatever. You know, I want to post it for the people, get some footage, that type stuff. You down? Are you by your computer? Okay, I'm finna Skype you. Okay. Alright, bet. Hello, everybody. We are here live via Skype with the lovely Faith Evans. Faith, welcome to my show, girl.
How you doing?
How you doing, girl? You live?
I'm good.
So I'm so excited to talk to you for a brief moment, just, you know, to have a little girl talk. So first, what I really want to talk to you about is this reality television business. Now, I hear that we have a show in common, which is The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I just want to ask you, have you been watching this season or not?
I have, when I can. I've been catching up.
Okay, what do you think about Mama Joyce, because she has been off the chains this season? So I just want to know, Candy, I feel so bad for her. If you was in this situation with Candy, Mama Joyce, and Todd, what would you do?
It's funny because I always, every time I see Candy and how she reacts, or doesn't react rather, with her mom, it reminds me of me a lot, only in that I think I took a lot in terms of like not feeling. There was a time when I just didn't want to disrespect my mother, but then it's like, okay, well, there's a certain point when it's disrespectful to you as an adult.
Right.
It's not about mother and child.
Right.
So at a certain point, so I think she just kind of, maybe Candy hasn't come to that point where she's able to cross that crossroads, so to speak, right now. You know, maybe this will help her to get past that. Because I do, you know, I ain't in their business or nothing, but it does seem a little bit much, you know, that her mom would want to be so adamant about who she's with. I mean, you know, if that's her choice, and, you know,
it's her choice.
I do feel bad for her too, though.
Yeah. Well, Candy, we're praying for you and Mama Joyce and Todd that y'all work that out. So, Faith, we know that you are a powerhouse vocalist, to say the least. So, I'm wondering, were you born into a musically talented family? Like, where did your gifting come from?
Well, my mom is a singer.
Okay.
She was actually the only black person in this all-white band in Florida.
Oh, wow.
Where my family is from. So my mother is definitely the, you know, where I got my, you know, got the singing, the voice from. I mean, of course, God by way of my mother.
Right.
But yeah, but she sang, like, you know, folk and pop and rock and country and blues, and definitely not your typical, you know, black music. But that is what definitely informed my well-rounded palette of musical genres. I mean, I grew up listening and looking through all of her albums, and it was all types of music. It wasn't just R&B music. It was Mamas and the Papas and Joni Mitchell and, you know, To Earth, Wind and Fire and stuff like that. It was a very, very wide range of music. So
Mama got good taste. So did you ever sing in the church? Because I was watching you recently on the Arsenio Hall show, and can I just say that you killed that performance, Faith. I said, won't he do it? And he definitely did it. So, did you ever sing in church?
Of course. I grew up singing in church. I mean, that was definitely the first place that I got to execute, you know, the singing. Actually, I was like two and a half years old.
Wow.
And I used to love the Flintstones. And there was a song on one episode of the Flintstones that Bam Bam and Pebbles sang called Let the Sun Shine In. And I don't know, maybe I used to sing it around the house, because somehow I ended up in front of the congregation when I was like 2.
Yeah, I can see you doing that.
I sang a song from the Flintstones as my first song in church, and then they wanted to put me in the kids choir, but the age was supposed to be 5, and I was 3, and then so I had people, you know, hating on me ever since I was 2 and a half. So I think God prepared me for the music business.
See, I knew you were that type of person. I knew you was that one soprano as a child that got all the lead songs that everybody was hating on. I can definitely tell that was you as a child. But I just want to know, so when did you know, like, yo, I really want to pursue this singing career. I want to, you know, go make it to Hollywood, you know, dream big. When did you know that you wanted to pursue this?
It's funny because I never knew that I wanted to per se be a recording artist.
Okay.
I just always sang. I sang everywhere from church, school. My school jazz band was the only band that had a vocalist, so I used to travel around with my school jazz band.
Wow.
Weddings, funerals, retirement parties. I mean, I sang everywhere. I was in a few plays, musical plays. I just knew I was going to be singing. I never realized, I never went out and per se pursued a record deal. That was really a matter of me being with my daughter's father and being their ride to the studio. And when I met Puff, when I first got, you know, offered to sign with Bad Boy, I was just there as a ride to the studio.
Wow.
He needed somebody to sing one line on a song, and I was there with my baby in the lounge. They was like, oh, Mama can sing. And then they called me and said, you know, he needs somebody to sing these lines. Mm-hmm. And I went in there, and, you know, I had already been very much experienced in the studio way before that, because I used to sneak out and sneak to the studio when I was young.
Okay.
And I knew how to, you know, get in there and record myself and arrange and produce my vocals. So I went in there and took those 2 lines, and I was like, excuse me, Mr. Puffy, you mind if I change it? And honey, I laid them, I arranged and harmonized them lines. As soon as I came out the booth, he asked me, would I be interested in signing into his new label?
That is
that
crazy.
same moment. So it was certainly, you know, a lot of work and a lot of grind, but I didn't know what it was for. You know what I mean? I didn't know why I was sneaking out the window to go to that studio in the Bronx and get my behind beat when I came home.
Right.
But it paid off.
But it paid off. That's crazy. And you are now a multi-platinum Grammy Award winning artist, so it has definitely paid off big time. But aside from that, you are also an author. And I just want to talk about that a little bit, because not a lot of people know about your memoir. And those that don't know, you need to go get her memoir, because it is juicy. So Faith, you know I got to talk to you about it. One of my favorite parts of the memoir is when you were talking about how you walked in on the notorious B.I.G. and Lil' Kim in your house. Like,
it wasn't my house.
Okay, so
it was his house at the time. We were separated.
So I mean, what's going through your mind at that point? Like, yo, like.
Oh, I didn't know who it was. I just didn't care who it was either. I just seen somebody in the bed and went for broke.
Listen, and that's why we love you, Faith.
It's so funny, because I'm sure I described it like that in the book, but I had on a Scully, a big goose bomber. I looked like I was coming around their house. They could have killed me.
Yes, and that is exactly what we need. We need.
I was a little rah-rah back in the day.
Listen, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, we need more of that nowadays. You know, we need a little rah-rah.
No, not for me.
But listen, y'all, go pick up her memoir. It's at Barnes & Noble. It's everywhere, okay? Y'all make sure y'all get at that. It's a great read. By the time you're done reading it, you're going to be calling her Faye Faye, the homie Faye Faye, trust me. Okay? So, Faye, you've written books, okay? You've sung, you've written, you produced, and your latest venture has been this of co-creating this amazing reality television show, the R&B Divas, and you are the executive producer. I think this was the best idea you have done, you know, in a long time, because a lot of times we see R&B artists, female vocalists come out and we be like, okay, where they at? You know, we ain't seen them in a long time. So you producing and creating this show was genius. So what inspired you to want to do this?
Actually, my friend Nikki Gilbert, the former lead singer of Brownstone,
okay.
She and I have been friends for probably like 20 years. She came to me with the idea. And
wow.
I was actually in the process of doing my own show. And, you know, I won't say was in the process of doing it, but I had an offer from several networks, one network in particular that I had shot a pilot for, and they really wanted to do a show. But I really knew that I wasn't I don't want to be reality show. I mean, not in the sense that they probably want it. I'm like, well, I'm not sure that they think that they're gonna be happy because they're not coming in my house. And they not, you know what I'm saying? So I was sort of like, I don't know if this is what I want to do. They kept trying to convince me. But then at that same time, Nikki came to me with this idea for R&B Divas, and I was like, hey, I never planned on being on the show, actually, just so you know. I just wanted to help my friend sell her show and be an executive producer because I had already done all of those rounds of meetings with the shows that I had already been shopping. But this was an opportunity for me to do something, not only to get that under my belt as a creative and executive producer, but to help these ladies have a platform.
But you know what I realized is that when you were filming this first season of this show, you were also thinking about giving back at the same time, which was why you decided to do the Faith Evans Presents the R&B Divas album, and proceeds of that actually went to the Whitney Houston Academy. And I just think that's phenomenal because a lot of times, you know, these reality shows, they ain't giving back to nothing. But for you to actually have that in mind, you know, while still you know, producing such an amazing show, I think that's incredible.
Well, that's what it was all about for me. It was all about doing something positive, and the first season definitely having a purpose. And Whitney us all having been there. The last night she was on stage, it was like me and Nikki were trying to figure out what is the first season going to be about.
Right.
And after Whitney died, I was like, I really think that we should do a record and dedicate it to Whitney, and because I've always wanted to do a project like that with all female singers. I just never really knew when or how I was going to pull it off. So it just kind of all just fell into place.
Wow. That's awesome. So, Faith, you are just multi-talented. What would you say, because you are definitely a mentor to a lot of girls out there that's aspiring to break into this industry, what type of advice would you give them, you know, for those wanting to pursue a career?
Well, I mean, I think the easiest advice to give, because my path, you know, everybody's path is different. The way things happen for me, clearly, you know, it don't always happen that way. Right. But at the same time, I think it's always important to be humble. It's always important to be nice. Respectful. It's nice to be nice. I mean, I've always said, you know, even before I had a deal with people that I was around that kind of broke into the business, and they just always, you know, when people just think like, oh, I'm the, you know, she's the, you know, I just never really got into that. I know so many talented people that nobody probably ever know their name outside of Newark or, you know, outside of their church. So for me, the talent of actually singing and being blessed enough to be able to share that and people receive it and touch people in ways you don't even know, I take it as a blessing. I don't really take it as something that you know, make me better. You know, I'm higher up than the next person. You know, so I just think that that's very important. I know that plays a huge part in why I am still here. It's my spirit, my humility, and my connection with God, you know. So I mean, I'm not trying to say everybody may not have a connection with God, but you know, maybe they need to, and if they apply that to their walk and whatever it is they're trying to do in life, I think that, you know, it'll work out. Yeah.
So what's next? Are you working on some new music? Because listen, I still am bumping that Faithfully album because that's my favorite record. I grew up listening to that. Me and my boyfriend at the time, we used to stay on the phone, playing tracks to each other. But I need some new music. So what's next? You got some new stuff coming out for us?
Yes, my new album, Incomparable, is dropping this year. Hopefully, definitely by summertime. I have a single out within the next couple of months. I just did a new deal for this album. I'm also developing a few other reality and scripted TV shows. Okay. So, you know, just trying to keep it moving and taking care of my 4 kids who keep me running and to the grocery store.
Listen, because we got to eat. Listen. Well, Faith, it was a pleasure, to say the least. You know we love you. Tell the people where they can keep in contact with you, where they can purchase the R&B Divas record in the meantime until the Incomparable album comes out.
Well, R&B Divas, I mean, it ain't many record stores around, but I'm sure it's still in some of them. Definitely online. Okay. I think you can purchase it via, iTunes for sure, and via my site, faithEvansmusic.com. I'm on Twitter at Faith Evans and Instagram, The Real Faith Evans.
Yay! Y'all go get the album, go get the memoir, go get it all, okay? We love you, Faith. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, and we'll have you back soon. But listen, before you go, are you going to come to Dallas soon? We need a show. Y'all want a show?
You know, it's crazy. I had like this show booked there, and the promoters kept pushing it back. back, and then when y'all got bad weather, every week something else was happening. The club flooded, the pipes burst. And I said, well, God, somebody don't want me to come down there, but
no, we want you.
So hopefully they wanna, get their money's worth and have me come down there.
Medusa, y'all need to book Faith. Medusa, I'm calling y'all out. The weather is clear. It's 81 degrees today. Y'all book Faith so that we can have a show and rock out. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Faith, it's always a pleasure. We love you, girl.
Take care. Love you. Bye.